Hey everyone, welcome back to the Cheer Chronicles podcast. This is your host, Rosie. And for those of you listening, all 10 of you, welcome back. Here is another episode. I am super excited about this episode because as a cheer mom and cheer coach, fundraising is not easy. Having kids in any sport is super expensive. And so we are talking to someone today who is an expert in fundraising. We are speaking to the amazing and awesome and talented and my friend Marisa Battle. Marisa Battle runs the All-Star Athletics Foundation. She is the director and founder, and we are so excited to have her on this episode. She was born in New Jersey, but moved to Southwest Florida when she was 11, so she considers herself a native. She has been with her husband for 22 years and they have a total of 8 kids and a granddaughter on the way, which she is super excited about. Marisa runs a property management company and is an office administrator at a local real estate company. She obtained her bachelor's degree in real estate studies from the University of Arizona Global Campus and started the All-Star Athletics Foundation in 2022. The All-Star Athletic Foundation is a nonprofit organization and its primary goal is to find fundraising solutions for athletes in Southwest Florida. All athletes in Southwest Florida. So you guys, we're going full out today with Marisa Battle and the All-Star Athletics Foundation. Enjoy this episode. We had a great time filming it.
Come on, y'all. Welcome to the Cheer Chronicles podcast with Rosie.
Welcome back to the Cheer Chronicles podcast. And today we have a super special guest. Marisa Battle is here with us today. She is the founder and director of the All-Stars Athletic Foundation. Welcome to the Cheer podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And we're going to get right into our questions about this foundation. How did you get involved with this foundation? How did it all begin?
Okay, so it's kind of a long answer. We have to go back to when my now 21-year-old daughter, who is a coach at Top Gun, when she was cheering at a different gym, they had a booster club, so I became a part of the booster club. And I did that for a few years, and then I became the president of that booster club. And we did all sorts of different fundraisers, which was super great because at the time I had 2 kids who cheered, so it was super expensive, right?
Yeah.
And then unfortunately that gym closed after COVID. It didn't survive. And we wound up moving over to Top Gun. That first season, can I backtrack real quick?
Yeah.
I should tell you that one of the fundraisers that we did was, at the time it was called Germain Arena, but now it's Hertz Arena.
Yeah.
And Top Gun was in there along with us. They actually trained our little booster club group on how to do the concessions. Funny story.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so funny. But so then we moved over to Top Gun. That first season, we didn't do any fundraising or anything. The second season, Buckley became the gym manager, and she had sent out an email that said that she wanted to get back into the concessions because they hadn't been there since COVID. And that's kind of really where the story begins, because I was still semi-working at the arena. The former concessions manager used to call me in to do trainings, rec rank, beer portables during concerts, what have you. So I happened to be working the mixed drink stand at the Jason Aldean concert that weekend. So I messaged Buckley back and I was like, oh, I'm still working at the arena, sort of. I'll talk to Gloria for you. And Gloria said that Top Gun could come back if I ran the concession stand.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I agreed. I tell Buckley, and she's like, yay, go with God. You got this. So I did. And we opened it up to some parents at Top Gun, but there was kind of a misconception on how much money people made at the arena. There was this weird rumor that they only made like $4 for working the concessions at night. So I didn't have a lot of participation with the Top Gun parents. So then I opened it up to FGCU Cheer Club as well, who were practicing at Top Gun. And one of the coaches at Top Gun was their coach. So it became like a mixture of Top Gun and FGCU Cheer Club. But I was doing all of the arena events. And by the end of that season, my daughter, who I only had one left now, had about 1.5 to 2 years worth of tuition banked at Top Gun.
Wow.
And I kept thinking, man, wouldn't it be great if I could use this to pay for hotels and flights and extra shoes and, extra makeup. And then I started thinking, wouldn't it be really great if I could use it for like my sons who were going off to football camps because they were in high school and recruiting season's coming, and wouldn't that be amazing? And that's kind of what planted that seed in my head to look for alternative options to fundraising. And then I went to this conference, a convention with my company, and there was a speaker there. His name was Coach Michael Burt, and he was a former basketball coach turned motivational speaker. And so things that he was saying was just resonating with me, like everything that he said. He's like, if you can think it, you can do it. And if you see there's a problem, then you have a social responsibility to fix that problem. And then our company wound up doing trainings with him. And I went to every single training, and I was just so inspired. I was just like, yes, I can do this.
Yeah.
And about 5 months later, All Star Athletics Foundation was created. So I went to Buckley, and I told Buckley what I did. And she was like, oh, yes, I don't have to worry about fundraising anymore. You got this. We had a new concessions manager at Hertz who gave me her blessing. So All Star Athletics Foundation was kind of born in Top Gun, but it became something more.
Yeah. And I have to say, first of all, working at the arena is no joke.
No, it's not a joke.
And even though I've only worked it when there's been hockey games, my husband has worked when there's been concerts. Shout out to Phil, who has been in trouble a few times.
Yes.
For leaving his concession stand and going over to watch the concert. But I have to say, it's a lot. It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It's
but
like an actual job almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of responsibility as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I always tell people it's just hamburgers and hot dogs,
And nachos.
And nachos. A lot of nachos. But we're there to have fun and have a good time and raise money for our kids. So I don't let anything really stress me out at the arena. As long as we can get the job done, there's no playing around or watching concerts when you're not supposed to. I don't know where I'm supposed to look, but
Yeah, over here. Phil.
watching concerts when you're not supposed to, then it's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine.
I also, just so people know, if you're of a certain age, your athlete is of a certain age, they could also come in and help.
Yeah, 13 and older. So if you have a bunch of kids or they have friends that want to come with and work on their behalf, the more people you bring, the more monies you make.
Yeah.
And Hertz Arena is our largest fundraiser that we do. We probably made more than half of what we made last year just from working the concessions at Hertz Arena.
Wow. It's really good money, and you take care of it and put it in everyone's account.
Yes.
We don't really have to worry about it, which I love.
No.
Poof,
Yeah.
the money's there.
Poof, the money's there. All of a sudden you guys get a ledger and you're like, whoa, look at all the money I have.
So what's the real mission of the foundation?
So our mission on paper is to promote, provide for, and sponsor All-Stars and their competitive sports in our county. But really what we're here to do is to find fundraising solution for these athletes. Any sort of fundraising solutions. It's not just one thing because one size doesn't fit all.
Right.
That's really what we're here for.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so if you are part not only of obviously our All-Star Gym, but if you are part of any sport in the county, regardless of the
Regardless of school,
you can
organization
participate.
affiliation, you can participate.
Awesome. Yeah. How does a parent or athlete sign up for the foundation?
So because we were born in Top Gun, our season runs concurrent with Top Gun. So Top Gun's season ends end of May. Then they have like a 2-week break, and then they do tryouts, and then the kids get their placements, and then that welcome packet goes out. So that's kind of when our season starts too. So about June, we'll have our very first meeting of the season. Buckley has, I think last year, started including our information in those packets for parents. So that's when we'll have our first meeting. And that's when we get the majority of our members. Majority of our members are from Top Gun. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. We help other athletes, but the majority of our members are our Top Gun families. So we'll have that first meeting. That's to introduce ourselves, to let people know what we do, what's available to them, introduce them to our sign-up system, get them into our communication app. And then we'll try to have additional meetings throughout the year because word of mouth. People hear about us.
Yeah.
Friends of friends hear about us. Other kids are like, wow, how can you do all this stuff? And then they're like, oh, well, I belong to this organization. I fundraise my butt off all the time. So we try to have several meetings throughout the year. But also, if anybody were to email me directly at allstaraathleticsfoundation@gmail.com and I can have a one-on-one with them, I'll have a one-on-one with them. We post our meetings on Facebook and as well as our website, which is allstaraathleticsfoundation.org.
And once you become part of the foundation, there is paperwork you have to sign.
There's a registration form you have to fill out. We have a policies and procedures manual, and it explains, I mean, it's 40-some pages.
Yeah.
So it's pretty in-depth. It explains a lot of things, a lot of the rules, a lot of what we're looking for, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. And then there's registration paperwork, obviously. We have to know who your athlete is, what organization they belong to, contact information,
Right.
Photo releases, because we do like to post your kids a lot. So that paperwork's all in there.
Awesome. So how do you measure the impact of your program for the community or from the community?
So I'm a numbers person. So when I see at the end of the month, when I see the amount of money that has come in, first of all, it's always like, holy smokes, because I don't go to everything. That's impossible. I can't. The main thing that I do is Hertz Arena. I don't really do anything else. So to keep my kid honest, maybe I make her go do a bake sale here and there just so that she's not spoiled, you know. But for the most part, I don't go to everything. So when I see, after I reconcile for the month, I'm just like, wow, right? Like, that's a lot. Last year, our foundation brought in just north of $87,000. 95% of that went back to the athletes' accounts.
Perfect.
So when I see that, I know we're making a difference, because these kids, it's not just their tuitions and registration fees that are being paid. They're going to extra camps or getting extra gear. And when I see them posting on Facebook all the fun extra stuff that they're able to do or able to participate in, and they're standing there with their parent who may not have been able to go with them otherwise, then I know I'm being impactful, right?
Right.
Or when they send me these like little text messages, I get text messages all the time just out of the blue, like, thank you so much for everything you do for my kid. It means something, you know? I know that we're having an impact on these families, because otherwise some of these kids might not be able to do their sport or do multiple sports or have their parents there as their support, you know? So.
Yeah, even school sports, when things are, you know, your jersey's already there at school, right? Because they reuse them or whatnot, but it still is expensive.
It's still expensive, even with school sports. Just because the schools may have the jerseys there, those jerseys had to be paid for somehow.
Yeah.
You don't want 5-year-old jerseys, right? So now these kids have to go fundraise for it. But with any sport, the kids have to maybe provide their own gear, their own cleats, their own mouthpieces, gloves, you know, if they need back braces, anything like that, you know, they have to go out and get it.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's expensive. You know, that KT tape is like $30 a roll or something. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
When you have to constantly buy it, you know?
And apart from Hertz Arena, what else? I've been canning.
Those I like to call our meet and greets, not canning. I hate that word. It sounds so. It sounds weird.
It is a huge meet and greet, because
it is a huge meet and greet. Our kids stand out there with their signs, and the people, they're coming out of the stores. They're, you know, in front of Publix's and Tractor Supplies, and Dunkin' Donuts is a big one. And people are asking, like, you know, who are you with? What are you doing? And the kids, oh, I love it, because they like to be on stage and tell the people what they're there for, what they're doing, and you know, so I call them the meet and greets. Parents call them the cannings, because they stand out there with their little buckets and ask for money.
Yeah. And it's a 2-hour process.
It's a 2-hour
So
shift.
there's different shifts that people sign up for, and then you go out, you say what you're there for, and then folks give you money. Yeah. We've made good money.
So next to Hertz Arena, the next biggest fundraiser we have would be the cannings.
And you do have bake sales.
We have bake sales. We want to try to do more car washes in the summer. It's really hard to get everybody together for a car wash. We do direct sales, like through Krispy Kreme. And we just finished up a Freshie fundraiser, which was like a direct sale. We partnered with one of the moms at the gym, and she made Freshies for people's cars, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we're getting ready to start a Fathead one. We just did Super Bowl squares. I mean, if it's a fundraiser that's out there, we're probably going to try it.
We're probably doing it. And then you also have the dinners, the family dinners.
Oh, yes.
Shout out to Liz who makes the
Yes,
empanadas.
the empanadas. Those are my favorite nights.
Same. So tell us about how, I mean, they sign up as well when you send out the information.
Yeah, so we have a system called signups, and there's several different calendars that we have in signups. And one of the calendars is our Top Gun meal nights / snack cart, because shout out to Buckley who let me put a snack cart in front of the gym. So if they want to make a meal, they can make a meal. I normally just have it on like Monday, but if they want to do it all week, I mean, I don't care. They can do whatever they want to do. It's their time and their cooking. So Mondays, Tuesdays, Mondays, Wednesdays, whatever. And they just make food and sell the plates of food. And they just tell me like, hey, this is what I'm selling. This is how much I want to sell it for. This is what it includes. And most of the time they'll have me make the flyer. But lately the parents have been making their own flyers, which is great.
Right.
You know, but sometimes I'll make their flyers for them, and then we send it out to the gym and they distribute it.
Yeah.
We put it all over social media.
It's good food, and
it's good food.
Our parents are out there 2 hours waiting for their kids to get out of practice, so it's good to have something that warm to eat.
Yeah.
It's really a family meal.
Yeah, it's not fast food on the way home,
No.
McDonald's, you know.
Next question. What strategies do you use to raise funds and secure sponsorship for your foundation?
So we're very blessed that we have that contract with Hertz Arena. Like I said, I said 87,000 last year. We raised 43 of that came from Hertz. So we're very blessed that we continue to have that contract and that good relationship with Hertz Arena. We're also very blessed that we have Top Gun because, like I said, the majority of our members are from Top Gun. And I'm going to give another shout out to Buckley because any crazy idea I've ever come up with, this woman has never said no to. She's always just like, okay, yes, you got that. You're in charge of it? Okay. You don't need anything from me but my blessing? Yeah. Good. So we're very blessed in those respects. In addition to that, we encourage our kids to go out and get individual sponsorships from businesses. A lot of businesses use this as a tax write-off because we are a nonprofit. I'll send out an end-of-the-year sponsorship letter to businesses that have donated in the past, just to give them a recap of our year, some of the successes of our athletes, what we've been able to accomplish thanks to their funds. Please send more, you know. And then other businesses that are likely to donate, because at the end of the year, a lot of businesses do have excess funds that they're trying to offload.
Right.
So we'll do that. And then personally, as the foundation president, I subscribe to a lot of blogs with resources like Give Butter and Donor Box, and they give us additional ideas for how to do more fundraisers. We're a very grassroots organization. We're not big enough yet to like have this huge online presence, maybe someday.
Right.
So it's really good to get like other ideas that think outside of the box, because otherwise we would just be doing cannings the whole time.
Yeah.
You know?
Meet and greets.
I meet my athletes.
Can you share a success story or memorable moment with the foundation that pulls at your heartstrings?
So, yes. I actually have two that I want to share.
Yes.
I have two.
Story time. Let's do it.
Story time.
Let's do it.
I have a family that's in the foundation, and two of them are soccer players. One of them is an all-star cheerleader. You know this family very well.
Yes.
And the two that play soccer earlier last year were invited to play in Spain, in the Surf Cup National, International, somewhere in Silao, Spain. It's like on the west coast on the water. I don't know, but it was in Spain. And this trip was going to cost these kids over $5,000.
Wow.
It was a lot of money. Plus, they still had to pay like their regular soccer dues. And like I said, they had a sister who was an all-star cheerleader, but these kids worked their little tails off so that in November, they were able to go to Spain with their mom. They had their trip paid for, they had their gear, and they were able to have this amazing experience that they not otherwise would have been able to have.
Yeah.
And then I had another athlete who was invited to the Football National Combine in Texas. And same thing, this combine was right after Christmas. So you can imagine how expensive and like, you know, a little bit of money his family still had left. But same thing, he worked his tail off. He paid for his hotel stay with two of his parents. He paid for the hotel stay, paid for his registration fees, paid for the plane tickets, the rental car. Other than food, the entire trip was paid for. And they were gone for maybe like 4 days.
Wow.
So I look at that and I see like their pictures and their experiences, and I'm like, you know, this foundation is impactful for these kids.
Yeah.
This foundation, this fundraising is opening up doors for these kids that they otherwise maybe not would have been able to step through. And that's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. What happens if somebody reaches out and they're not in Lee County? Are they still able to do any of the fundraising or?
So they're still able to. We have kids that don't necessarily live in Lee County. We try to accommodate them as best we can. But because we are in Lee County, most of our fundraising, such as cannings and bake sales and such, go on in Lee County.
Yeah.
But because we do have online fundraisers, if they're willing to travel to come do those things, you know, Hertz Arena or any of those cannings, the meet and greets, they're more than welcome to sign up and do whatever they want to do.
Well, that's good. Even if they're not in the immediate area, they could still
Right.
come in.
Yes.
Okay. What are the biggest challenges you face in running an athletic foundation?
So the biggest challenge is just getting our name out there so that people know who we are, what we do, and that can get more sponsorships and donations from companies around the counties. But another one is helping people understand exactly what we do. I feel like a lot of people are in that booster club mindset, so
Yeah.
they think we're just one big giant booster club. But the problem with booster clubs is that you don't get a say so on where those funds go. That booster club is going to raise money just for the organization that they're a part of. Whereas with our foundation, we're more athlete specific. So you know where all of the money that you're raising is going. It's going into your athlete's account until you tell me to disperse it and where you tell me to disperse it. If you have receipts to give me for hotel stays, I give you a check for that. If you want me to send the money to your kid's cheer gym, I send the money to your kid's cheer gym, but you have a say-so. With booster clubs, they're more team specific, so no matter what the fundraiser is, all that money is going to go back to that organization for them to decide what to do with that money. And then you have the same kids showing up for fundraisers, and that money is going to get evenly distributed amongst all the kids that are on that team, even the kids who didn't show up.
Right.
And then you see the same kids showing up, supporting the same kids who didn't show up, and then you find that to be frustrating for those athletes and for their guardians and parents. And that's when you start seeing little to no support. Nobody wants to be involved anymore because what's the point? I'm always here. This person's never here, but they get the same cut that I do. Like, that's not fair. So for people to understand that with us, you know, what you can do as little or as much as you want. Whatever you need to do, we're here. But it's for your athlete only. You're not supporting somebody else's kid.
Yeah. I mean, that's difficult too when you're, you know, and when I have my fundraisers at my school, there's certain, you know, times that we are very much like, hey, whoever shows up is whoever gets those funds in their account. So if you don't show up, then that's difficult to say everybody gets it and then only 5% of the people are showing up for the fundraiser.
Right.
So how do you envision the future growth and development of the foundation?
So eventually, what I would like to see is for us to have some sort of partnership with these organizations around here so that they know we're an option. Maybe a flyer can go out to the schools, the beginning of the school year, mid-school year, whatever, so that these parents know that we're an option, we're here. I've tried to, other than, I think, Top Gun puts us on their website, but it would be nice if other organizations would put us on their website so their parents can reach out, because that's really how we're going to grow. Now, I have found that in order to do some of these things, I need more volunteers. Hint, hint. Because I am one person. And I kind of like have an idea on how to get those things started, but I do need help, you know. But I will say that as we have grown, which was 60% last year, which is mind-blowing to me, to be honest. I could count like on my hands how many members I had.
At the beginning
of this whole thing. And now somebody mentions a kid and I'm like, wait, is that one of my kids? Like, I had to stop and think, right? So it's amazing how much we've grown. But as we've grown, I have noticed that we've gotten more help. I used to have just one sidekick who used to make all my phone calls and would set up these fundraisers. And now I think there's 4 parents that do it for us. And then even at the arena, it used to just be me at every event. And now I have like 2 or 3 other parents that have stepped down. It's like, hey, yeah, I can help and do stand stuff and lead the stand so you don't have to go to every single thing.
Yeah, and the spots get filled up pretty quick.
Very quick.
Yeah.
For a lot of things, yeah.
They're not, parents aren't playing around.
No, they're not.
Because sometimes I'll go in, you know, I'll see your email, I'll go in there an hour later, gone.
Yeah, gone.
You got to be quick.
Yes.
Quick.
I try to tell everybody, like, in our communication app, I try to say, like, hey guys, FYI, I'm going to open the spots for, because, we open them as a month goes on. Like, things are scheduled months in advance, but we only open them 1 month at a time. And I'll try to go on and be like, hey, I'm going to open it tomorrow at noonish. And I always say ish because you never know with me. It's like 1:30 and I'm like, oh God, I got to open the spots. So I'm like noonish. But yeah, they go super fast. But I try to give people heads up, like, so it's not like a surprise. Here's your email. Sign up.
So tell everyone how you communicate with the members.
So I like to communicate just through the email personally, but we have found that it doesn't work like that. Really. Nobody really checks their emails anymore, I guess. Just me. So I'm old school, I guess. But we have a communication app called GroupMe. So, GroupMe, right?
Yep.
GroupMe.
That's it.
I had to think about it for a second. And we put all the parents in there, and we tell them all to, download that app. I add them all in, and that's where most of our communication happens. One of our parents, Liz, is in charge of, like, all the direct sales and online fundraisers. So she'll go in there and she'll be like, hey, I want to start this on this date. Message me if you want to be a part of it. And then she'll open, like, a separate, like, group text so that we're not getting all of those text messages.
Right.
And then if anybody's dropping spots or they need something additional.
Yeah, I was just going to ask about that. If I signed up for something and then all of a sudden I'm like, oops, I have a wedding that day. I can't make it. How do we go about letting everyone know that I can't make it? Can someone else take the spot?
Because our sign-up system, it'll alert me when somebody cancels, but I don't want to babysit people. So I tell people just go on the sign-ups and say, like, hey, I signed up for this canning on this date at this time. I'm going to drop it. If anybody wants it, it'll be open.
And to drop it, you go back to the email.
You go back to the signups, and then you just drop your spot. Or somebody will be like, hey, can I have it? And then they'll just switch out, like, super fast. Now, I do lock the hurt spots only because if people drop it, it's different than if they drop a canning. If you don't show up for a canning, nothing happens. But if you don't show up for hurts, it's like work. So they depend on us. So once those spots are filled, I lock them. And then if anybody has to drop, then they have to tell me that they're dropping and who's taking their spot, because they have to have a replacement for their spot.
Right.
So.
Also, when you work the hurts, you got to wear a cap.
Yes.
Don't
or
forget.
A hairnet.
Yeah, don't forget, because I forgot that one time.
I had an athlete forget once, and she had to go buy a $35 cap. Yeah. She knows who she is.
Luckily, when I forgot, you guys had extras.
Yeah, that day I forgot my extras. Poor thing.
So, let's go into our lightning round.
Oh, God.
Which is really, we're going to go into our send-off round. Are you excited?
I don't have notes for that. No.
You don't need notes for that.
I'm not prepared for that. Like, I'm sweating. My hands are clammy.
You're fine. You're fine. This is fun. Are you ready?
No.
Don't look at my notes.
No.
Here we go. First question of the send-off round. Most rewarding part of being a cheer mom?
Oh, gosh. If you had asked me this question like 2 years ago, it would be something different. But now it's just watching the growth. Like, I have one that still cheers, but I have one that cheered, and then she became a coach at Top Gun.
Shout out to Coach Bella.
Shout out to Coach Bella. Watching her coach after being somebody who was so passionate about her sport, and now she's so passionate about her athletes. Yeah. It literally makes me cry every comp, because I'm just like, this. I watched her, like, I watched her be so passionate about the sport. Now she's like putting that passion on her kids, and she's teaching them, and someday these will be the kids who are coaching. Yeah. And it's just, that's probably the most rewarding thing for me.
That's awesome.
Watching their growth.
Yeah. Coach Bella also coaches with me at one of my teams.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So when my teams go to Top Gun, because we have so many cheer teams, we don't have all the space at the school. So we practice at Top Gun. So Coach Bella coaches the middle school cheer team with me.
Oh, okay. I had no idea.
Yeah. The whole season.
She might have told me.
2 seasons.
She might have told me.
We're hoping going into 3 with Coach Bella and the middle school team.
Oh, man. She might have told me, and then I just forgot.
Yeah, Coach Rashad coaches the elementary team with us.
Oh,
So we always have a
wow.
Top Gun coach with us.
Okay.
Shout out to Coach Rashad.
Shout out to Coach. He does all the privates with my daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine too.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the private lessons for tumbling.
Yeah.
Funniest? We're going to give you a second and pause here so you could answer this one.
Oh my God.
Funniest cheer mom story?
Oh my God. I don't know. Do you know how long I've been a cheer mom?
How long?
Bella is now 21, so since she was 5.
Oh, that is a long
That's
time.
a long time. That's 16 years.
Memorable? Funniest? Anything?
Of being a cheer mom, I don't know. There's
There's
many.
one that you post every year.
Oh,
And I don't know
I don't
know
though?
the details of it.
Oh my gosh, yes. I don't think that's the funniest.
Right,
I
but
think that's
memorable.
probably my most memorable. You're right.
So tell us about the story.
So my daughter Bella was on a senior 5 team and they went to cheer sport, and it was the same weekend that my youngest daughter was in Tampa for a competition at Silver Spurs Arena. I hate that place, but we were at Silver Spurs Arena, and her senior 5 team was struggling that entire season.
Mm-hmm.
Like they hadn't hit 0 at all season. They were just on the struggle bus. It was just so weird and was so bad, and their coaches were amazing. Like they can I say their names? They had Coach Nicole and Coach Brandon, and oh my gosh, they were just like the most amazing coaches. But for whatever reason, that team just wasn't hitting. I don't know. And I had to send her by herself. I couldn't be in 2 places at once. Like,
right.
My husband and I talked about it, and he's like, you obviously have to be with the youngest. You can't go with her. So this is the first comp I'd ever missed for Bella. Ever.
As a cheer mom,
As
that's a
cheer
big
mom.
deal.
That is a
big
huge deal. So I was already like, ugh, right? And I wanted to watch them at cheer sport, and I found one of the cheer moms at our gym, and I had heard that she had that cheer TV channel, the varsity channel, and I was like, can we go watch it? And she's like, yeah. So we go in like the corner, like this little corner of Silver Spurs Arena. She pulls it up on her phone, and I've got my little one sitting in front of me, and we're watching them hit 0 for the very first time that season.
That's
and
awesome.
I just started crying. I just started bawling my eyes out.
So the video that you post every year is of you crying.
It's of that other cheer mom filming me while I'm crying. I had no idea she was filming me.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't know until I looked up and I saw, and I thought she was like just filming me to like send it I had no idea she was going to post it. I thought she was just going to send it to the coaches or whatever, but I was bawling my eyes out crying, and I was just like, I'm so proud of you guys. Like, oh my God, you guys finally hit at cheer sport, which
is a big deal.
Huge deal.
Yeah, cheer sport is a big deal. All right, ready?
Oh God.
Next one. Biggest pet peeve of cheerleading. I just did like a whole episode on pet peeves and what gives me the ick about cheer sometimes. Mostly as a parent, because some of the things I'm like, oh gosh, why?
I missed the podcast.
It was last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So my biggest pet peeve about cheerleading is when people tell me that cheerleading is not a sport.
Yes, that was.
Is that one of yours?
Yep. That was the first one.
Oh my God. So I hate when I hear that, because cheerleading most definitely is a sport.
Most definitely.
Very physical. And you know, my sons play football, and they watch their little sister, and they're like, there's no way we could ever do that. There's just absolutely no way we could ever lift somebody like that. And she's a back spot. But when they're watching that, there's no way we could ever tumble across the mat like that. And how are these girls staying up in the air like that? And is that even physically possible?
Yeah.
And they watch them, and I'm just like, cheerleading is a sport, you see? Cheerleading is a sport. And they're like, oh no, for sure.
And some of the conditioning and athletic work that they do.
They can't do it. During the summer, one of the coaches at Top Gun, who Liana, my daughter, has had, Coach Ashley, she gives the most insane summer workouts, right? And I tried doing it with her once. I thought I was going to die. So my son, who is now off to college playing football, tried doing it with her. And he came back and he was like, that was it. He did it one day. He's like, I can't do this. Plays college football.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot.
It is a lot.
And it's funny because at my daughter's school, you know, in middle school, the boys always say, oh, it's not a big deal. You guys, what you do. And playing around, they've tried to put each other up in a stunt, the boys, and they can't do it.
No.
There's also certain technique that you should know before you do that.
Before you do it.
But yeah, they can't do it. So yeah, pet peeve.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Okay, easy question. Favorite Worlds team?
My favorite Worlds team. I used to be obsessed with Brandon Black for the longest time. And when my daughter actually went to Worlds, I was like looking at the schedule. I'm like, all right, got to get over to the milk house because Brandon Black's about to take the stage. So yeah, they were my favorite Worlds team for a long time. And then Senior Elite was
So we're going to see them next week.
We are going to see them next week.
I am so excited.
Yeah.
Y'all are going to have to hold me back. I already said this. Yeah, I am obsessed not only with their music, but the whole routine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I already warned people.
Yeah.
Don't let me go on the mat with them. I need to be held back.
Okay. Yeah. And then from Top Gun, because I have to shout out to a Top Gun
Of course.
team. It was Angels for the longest time.
Really?
Yep. Top Gun Angels. I used to stalk them.
Favorite Top Gun team, 005.
Yeah?
For the
Yours?
longest time, yeah.
Wow.
Shout out to Revelation, too, because they're killing it.
that's my youngest favorite. Oh, she loves
They do
Revs.
such a good job, and I love their music this season, too. Okay, here we go. Last question. If you had to use one word to describe how you handle being a cheer mom, what would that word be?
Patient. You need a lot of patience to be a cheer mom, I think.
Yeah.
So you need a lot of patience.
On all angles.
On all angles. Because they go from your sweet little kid who wants to spend all their time with you, and then they become teenagers who think everything that you do is just wrong. And it's just, I just did the same thing that this other mom did, but she did it 100,000 times better than I did. So, I'm just wrong.
Of course, yeah.
When they become teenagers, that's when you're just like, but it doesn't last forever.
I hear you. It's harder when you also have to coach them.
Yeah.
I get it a lot. Mom, I'm the coach's kid. There's also, it comes with the territory.
Yeah.
Some of the things. But yeah, patience. That's a good one.
Patience. I think, yeah. Plus, you have to have patience anyway because the schedule is always going to change. There's always going to be some kink that's thrown at you. And you can't be just, you can't do anything about it,
Mm-hmm.
So why are you going to get super upset about it,
I mean, it's cheer.
It's cheer.
Everything's crazy all the time.
All the time. It's a very subjective sport. So what are you going to get mad about, Let the coaches fight it out and you guys just be there to be supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
patience on and off the mat too. I feel like there's so many things that occur off the mat as well for the athletes, and constantly the work, and they worry so much about things even when they're not at practice, hasn't even occurred, and you're like, just calm down.
Yeah.
So yeah, patience is a good one for sure. Okay, so that's it. That's the end of the send-off round. You survived.
I survived. Oh, thank God.
Look at you. No, you did fine.
My hands are still clammy. I can't do burpee back handspring, so.
Yeah, because if you don't answer, that's what happens.
Yeah, I can do squats, but I wouldn't be able to do those burpee back handsprings.
Not even on the trampoline?
No.
Me either. I would probably get very hurt and need EMS on standby.
Yes, 911.
So before we end, tell us how we could, or someone could get in contact with you about the foundation.
The best way is to email me, because if you call me, I'm probably not going to answer my phone. I'm not going to lie, I'm the worst at my phone. I don't answer 90% of the phone calls that come in. So if you're not in my contact list,
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. So allstarathleticsfoundation@gmail.com. That's the best way to get in touch with me, send me an email.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for stopping in to the Cheer Chronicles podcast. Make sure you subscribe right up here. There's nothing there, but there will be something there. Thank you for stopping by, y'all. Marisa Battle from the All-Star Athletics Foundation. Thanks again.
Thank you.